We will be going the distance here in the grand finals, best of 5. Team Vitality on the verge of pulling off a reverse sweep. Liquid, however, as you guys can see, they're probably trying to get their act together here. Very strong words coming out from Coach Lohan. I am your hosting, so I'm back here with Sadak and Mini. I've never seen you that angry, Mini. I feel like I've never seen you express that kind of emotions.
I don't think I have that capability, to be honest with you. So I quite like it because we saw Nats in that last map with the kind of very introverted, kind of like very calm speech. And in this moment, it does feel like they need a bit of a kick up the bum. So Lohan coming in hot with some anger.
Is that what they need?
Yes, they need to wake up. They need to do what they were doing on the first 2 maps. But now it's all Vitality. It's all Vitality.
I think they need to shut down less because Sadak...
Impossible. Impossible.
You guys don't know this. When we're watching the game here with Sadak, every time Les is in any situation, Sadak is like, watch this, he's going to win. He's got this. He's got this. He wins these. But he does win these.
Not a single doubt in my mind, of course. Look at this. He's so smart, so handsome. Look. Oh my God. Yes. He has everything also.
Yeah. Mini, however, on the other side was like, oh, Durka, what are you doing? Why have you missed that?
To be honest, I was being a bit critical of Durka. Yeah, there was a very big contrast between the positivity coming out of Sadak and me being the usual negative Nancy.
There's not a lot of negatives you can say about Les, though, Mini. You know, if you watch that map, he was just prime Les.
Yes, he's just chilling, killing everyone. You see no emotion in his face. He came here to destroy. That's it.
He came here to be the first player to win two trophies in 2 different regions.
Yes.
Definitely very impressive if he can pull it off. Also, very impressive, Mini, some of the Tejo stuff that we saw. We have a round here, a round 7. Talk us through what you liked about this.
So it looked like Vitality had a bit of a switching game plan where they're using these B long salvos quite a lot to force out the space from Liquid, and Liquid looked very kind of panicky about it. But in this round specifically, just the Teo salvos to take the space, and then the Armageddon coming in. I think we just want to highlight like how oppressive the Teo can be. Like Team Liquid are forced to play full retake, and Vitality get B site for free. And B site post plant, in my opinion, I don't know what Sadak thinks, but
it's hard.
Pretty easy post plant.
Yeah, it's hard to retake that.
Do you feel like that was the round that it happened, right? Round 7, when they're 4-2 down, they managed to bring this side pretty close in the end. How important was that to keep it competitive and not let Team Liquid run away with the game?
I think this was a breaking point in economy and in ultimates also, because whoever wins this round gets to win like the next 2 or 3 rounds, basically, off of ultimates, and it gets this snowball effect, you know? So this was like a super important round.
And Vitality, you know, the super team, they so far have had this habit of if you let them snowball, they're just going to win, and they're going to win pretty dominantly. But the question is, can they now they're the ones that have to actually close out. The momentum keeps shifting, you know, we have Liquid struggling a little bit to close things out, 3-0, 3-1, and now Vitality on the verge of actually reverse sweeping. And since Mini, you have had 3 different times of reverse sweeping in a lot of situations. You know, we saw it against Loud. No, that wasn't a reverse sweep. I guess on the map, it was a bit of a comeback. We also saw a bit of a comeback against Koi as well back in the days. And of course, pulling off the actual only reverse sweep against Team Heretics. How do you do it? What is the most important thing on map 5 when you're about to actually reverse sweep?
I think for us, it was just about belief and experience. And I think in terms of the narrative of this, like we're looking at Vitality with all the experience and, to be honest, the belief, because they've just won 2 maps in a row that were fairly convincing, in my opinion.
Yes, they were. Yeah, they were super convincing. Can I also add a small...
Anything you want.
A small fact. When we play... What was it? America's finals? The first America finals? Les actually asked me to IGL the Fracture. So he does have a really good idea of how Fracture works. I'm really trusting him on this one.
Oh, he wanted to call on Fracture.
He called on Fracture and we won.
Oh, wow.
Fracture. So I'm really trusting him on this one. So yeah, I mean, 100% has to go to Vitality. And also Durka plays well this map also, right?
Yeah, Durka's always liked this map.
Yeah, and that's the thing about Durka. Of course, part of that team that managed to reverse sweep Heretics. Do you remember at all what he was like at this point of the series going into map 5? Anything that kind of stands out for you? Because he also did have a pretty good performance that series.
I honestly can't remember. I'm sorry for Sadak for bringing it up again, but I do remember that Icebox comeback.
Oh no!
And that was a very similar moment to me.
Don't worry, I remember also.
Durka was the one who switched emotionally. Like he became like almost the leader in the team at that point and was the one charging forward first and had full belief. Even in the OT, he was like, I'm going to buy the AWP guys, I'm going to win us the round. And at that point, I knew we won the game, to be honest with you.
Leading by example, leading by example. I mean, there's a lot of moving pieces here on the side of Vitality, but it does seem that now it's flipped. The pressure is back on them. For Liquid, you know, if they don't end up winning here, I don't think anybody could be mad at them for how far they've come.
Yeah.
For Vitality, however, if they lose here, there's going to be a lot of questions about them going into Masters Bangkok. And this man on your screen, Nats, has consistently, every step of the way, managed to take his team to a victory. So Sadak, can Nats, I guess at this point, be the single player that can stand up to this super team?
Yes, 100%. I mean, he's been proving that over and over again the past weeks. So yeah, I mean, he is the guy. He's being the guy right now. Look at him, just yapping all the time.
Talking for a long time.
Yeah, he's yapping, and sometimes that's exactly what the team needs. Someone to talk and guys, we can do it. We're gonna win. But look at the other side.
Look at this yap off.
Yeah, they're yapping a lot. Jesus Christ, guys, focus on the game. Come on.
Is great. I would love to get some insight, like maybe the comms video when it comes out with the yap off. But Paddy also has a lot of experience. This is the guy that, you know,
he come from a finals, right?
Yeah, he suffered a lot as well. Back on Heritage, he suffered a lot from not winning. On the back of his mind, he's probably very hungry to be able to close this one out. But let's talk about Fracture very quickly, because this is the map we will be heading to.
I can see the comps. I'm very excited. I know we're not like we shouldn't speak about it now, but I can see the comps and I'm getting
Okay,
excited.
let's not leak anything. Let's not contain your excitement. And I also want to talk a little bit about the coaching staff as well on either side, because this is probably, Mini, the most stressful situation you can be a part of.
Yeah, right. This is torture. At this point, it's like I joke that I like seeing the coaches stress is fun, but I am glad that I'm sat on this side of it for once.
But,
yeah, it's brutal.
It's like a sense of helplessness almost, right? Because you can't really do anything more. You've done everything you can.
Everything's done now. It's just the timeouts. Literally just timeouts. So I'll be keeping an eye on them.
So, okay, I have a question for you. In these situations, would you pause just for the mental?
If yeah, absolutely.
Yeah?
If
like it's the final game of the finals, and the team is like all over the place mentally. Not strategically, but
yeah, absolutely. I always trusted Boaster and the team that like strategically that they're gonna sort themselves out if they need to.
Yeah.
Obviously, like there might be something they're missing.
Yeah.
But the worst case scenario is when the team is down, you know, mentally. And I think that's a good point, because Team Liquid, we don't know what they're gonna be like in this kind of deep best of 5 reverse sweep situation.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, tactical pauses might be needed.
Well, let's take a look and see why Sadak and Mini were so excited. All right, we got the Vice. I'm going to let you go first, Sadak. It is not safe playing its Trex.
Yeah, I mean, they're changing the game compositions. I think we can clearly see they're putting a lot more less on this Brimstone style, like back playing from way back, you know. And I'm really liking it. I really like this Vitality composition. I really like it with the Tejo and Vice. I think this is the strongest composition they have so far, because they're just winning on these comps. So yeah.
Yeah, I think this comp is close to perfect. I like Astra still, but Vitality's comp in theory I think is almost perfect. The Vice can't be countered by the Teo, the Cypher can. So that's a big difference.
Yeah, and you must know this. Les has never played Brimstone in his entire career in an official. Is this the right time to debut an agent like him?
I mean, if he's playing it, it means they practice it a lot, so yes, he's prepared.
You trust him?
100%.
I don't think there's anything Les can do that you wouldn't trust.
Of course. If he tells me he can fly, okay.
And you feel the same way, Mini, about Vitality with Durka on the team?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that there's this weird thing where like Les and Durka, they're bringing theory from different teams, and I think it's going to come together in a very nice fracture.
Yeah, that is true.
Well, I'm going to play the other end. I believe in Team Liquid. I doubted them all the other times. I will never doubt you again.
He's talking.
Tom, let's see how much you can over-yap Nat and save.
Thank you so much to our analyst desk. One last time, it's time to get into our final map of the grand final, map number 5. And we're going to Fracture. Tom, simple question, because the chat seemed to go back and forth in the vote. Who's the favorite coming into this?
Vitality. It's there to lose now. They were favorites at the beginning. They faltered early. And now they're in the driver's seat. It's always more difficult to respond after a couple of maps losses, but they're already looking to try and fight versus Durka. This is not the start they were looking for. The pincer of that north side has worked out perfectly. And there might be a two-pronged lurk, but look at where the spike is.
Can't wait to see how the initiative of both of these teams evolves and is in effect throughout this map. Already seeing north side crunches, and we've seen so much defensive aggression in these rounds. It's left to a 3v2. Kiko and Nats have a firing squad to come up against the shots. Well, at least one of them lands in their favor, but Kicks quickly kicks back. It is 1-0 for Vitality.
I think we've seen how important strong starts have been for either side. Think about the maps that they've been winning, the first two 9-3s that came up. Getting off to basically blitzing through the pistol has really been a defining factor for either of these squads. And the fact is, it's the same again. We have witnessed maps where we've gone into it as, okay, Liquid have played this, Liquid have the reps, and Vitality have the tape. Well, there's been 4 maps of this, granted a big compositional shift, as they were running 0 duelists on the Liquid side for the first 2 games, which I didn't enjoy. But the new comp has been better, but it's been seen. And that's definitely a scary prospect. Think back to that Lotus game we saw earlier. It seemed like Vitality threw the book at Liquid. In this round, expectations are minimal.
Right here.
And with Less's performance in the last map, I'd steer clear of him.
Vitality. Challenge down below that rope is not yet being seen. Patatek, despite being tagged up earlier, he's waiting to make a play. Round comes the rest of the squad. It's going to be a challenge, and one that you need to see Trex win, especially now that Durka has been bested. Guided salvo goes in, keeps him close, but less. I can hear Sadek from here. That's a double kill on the board, and a round perhaps saved. Certainly kept competitive, and with the range he has, a nice dodge of the flash, he should be cleaning up the rest of these players.
Stuck somewhat in the corner.
Left.
There is still time to try and make a run for it, but they have to get their running shoes on fairly quick. Maybe trying to sell the idea already that they've gone. There's nothing really left to save. No, they are. They're making that run all the way back to the other side of the map. This is going to come down to a matter of seconds. And yeah, if there's any utility put into place here, I don't know if he's going to have time. Think maybe just. That's going to be incredibly close. No, it hasn't gone through.
Once you see that 4 disappear on top of your screen, it's over. There's no way to plant that. Just a missed timing when it came to that. And then I wondered as well, was Patatek was waiting, I thought, waiting for the fault line to come back online to put that in to cause a bit of an issue where they think it's a B play. They stay in position, they rotate. But ultimately, the time there is the biggest factor. Some good ideas from Team Liquid just fell apart in the late round.
Yeah, ultimately, after going down, they still get all the credits anyway, so it's just a few extra put in their pocket. They can play with, make sure they come in with the full shields, and they definitely made that one a little bit more costly than Vitality would have liked.
My camera is destroyed.
Now is where we need to see a change to the script. They can't start off with a 3-0 deficit and taking down the lurk of Nats. That's not only him going down, but that's also so much control. He's normally sat with his cam across the map watching for any pushes where he can't do that anymore.
No, and those traps down, flanks open, you have absolutely no protection. So it's straight into the site, and then they need more ground. That's what this push is all about. They're looking deep into the spawn for this fight, where Safe is under threat and eventually taken down. Kiko with the cover, and now this round has a huge advantage for Team Liquid. Well, that has quickly subsided. Durka on the back of, oh, he's been stunned as well. He's got to fall back. Time ticking down lower and lower. Less almost had the play, and in fact would Durka! I'm gonna need a replay, and then we can do it again. And you know, I'm throwing a third one.
Wow.
Holy!
It's finally come down to a point where the ace was so fast that the crowd didn't even get to call for it. This is why everyone was shocked when we saw this man leave. We talked about him. again and again and again. There is no one else in the world that could do things like that on such a consistent basis. And well, the thing is, the round as a whole, anybody who went through the middle of the map died from the side of Vitality. The only thing that stood in Liquid's way was Durka. And unfortunately for them, he was more than enough.
A brick wall.
Thorns activated.
They could not get through him. Nats caught him the lurk last time, and it's not going to go much better this time. Diced up Team Liquid on the site. They've ran into Trex with the triple. It's still competitive, though. There's rifles to be recovered. The spike is in Team Liquid's control, and the plant just now coming in. Flash won't stop them. Showstopper, though, could cause problems. This roundup for Team Liquid, even just getting that expanded would be perfect. Unfortunately for them, they are quickly being overrun. Durka running out of heaven to clean up, and 4-0 we start. Showstopper online for Durka in the next round when the investment comes in from Team Liquid. This is a damning start.
Honestly, I think the most fitting sign I've just seen in the crowd is one punch Durka.
Yep.
Every opponent he comes up against, he hopes that they're strong enough. He hopes that he doesn't just knock them out with one foul swoop. But the fact is, that's exactly what he did in the prior round. It's still hard to forget. And for Liquid, well, you mentioned, or they mentioned on the desk, proactive pauses. I think it's needed. When you lose a round as brutal as that last one, responding can almost feel forced. Like you feel like you need to get back into the game sooner rather than later. And considering how the last two maps have gone, you're talking about a 13-6, 13-7. Like, they haven't been particularly close. You do not want to allow Vitality to continue this, because let's not even talk about the 4 players a little bit lower down. If you allow Durka to keep doing things like this, it is over.
And then you look back at last map, you look at the desk that we just had, and listen to what they were talking about, to what, albeit a slightly biased Sadik, but what he said, and someone like Les, 5-1. Durka's great, Durka got an ace, but Les putting in the rounds, one after another. For Team Liquid, solutions need to be found fast. Vitality, they're coming in with a different vibe on this map, setting the pace on their defensive side. And like I said, I was excited to see some of the aggression, but so far these first 4 rounds have been insane. And I expect a little bit more insanity now with rifles for everybody, some ultimates online and others close to being online. This round could be pure chaos.
Yeah, unfortunately for Kamek, his didn't have the desired effect when utilized. Safe's already going to have to give up at least a little bit of control. We've seen this from Trex already. The combination of util, the vines, which are actually going to be broken. Well, it seems like Nats, as always, is slowly learning the util setup. Defeating it before it causes them issues. Durka, though, he's got to be careful. There's a player right around the corner timing everything. And while Kiko, he finally puts him down.
But Les was waiting. And even taking the trap, he manages to sidestep the shots. That's the numbers back to square one. 4v4, but look what Les has now after early fight. Orbital strike is here. Trex catches the shoulder, and it's an easy kill. With orbital strike lurking in the background, and Les on his way. This site take needs to see a plant very soon. Stun held. Kick's just waiting for that plant. Maybe save could punish. But with that cage up, it doesn't look possible. I like the jump peek from Les. Oh, safe! I don't know what gave that away, but his trigger finger got a little itchy. Now they're not looking at the flank. Now Nats has to fill in the gap. He has to go and watch the site. So, of course, Safe deals with him. Now Kamek, well, he knows where Safe is. Oops, that was almost awkward. With 12 seconds left, he needs a plant, and they've got enough time to just run this clock down. Kamek tries his best to force them into a fight, and he did get to see them both before he died. But die he will still. 5-0.
Was mentioned on the desk that Durka was one who had pulled off a reverse sweep before. There's another man on that team who was incredibly close. Lock-in, Loud, Fnatic, came down to the wire, and one man again stood in Les's way. It's a little bit different this time, as that man sits beside him, sits on the same team, and they are right at the top of the board right now. But that's the thing. It does seem like Vitality, with that extra experience, with those players we've seen, been there, done that, win Masters, win Champions, they haven't run out of gas. And I'm starting to ask the question, have Liquid 5-0 down on Fracture? We've seen this across the previous maps as well. After the second was done, it seemed like it was over. Have they got a response?
It's the difficulty, man. Just that mental bounce back is so tough. It was discussed on the desk as well. Remains to be seen. For so many of these players, this is a new challenge. Nice kills across the board, man.
He's killed himself.
Taking himself down with the nade. If that doesn't tell you where Team Liquid are, this push, it is embodying every issue they've had. Vitality quicker on the trigger, one step ahead these last two maps, and now they're tripping over themselves.
Here.
Kiko's low. Nats is still lurking around, but they need a miracle.
Look at the ults, look at everything. There's nothing that sits in their favor right now. Stuck within the side, the salvo leaves them with nowhere left to sit. And it is so clean from Team Vitality. I don't even think half the players, in fact all of them but Durka, didn't even take a single point of damage. It doesn't get any cleaner than that.
Flawless.
At least they were full eco to, oh wait, no, they weren't, they had rifles. That's an in-zone flawless up against, oh no, oh there was no need for this, there was no need for this. And it is the Razor Vine slowing him down, stopping him from getting out into sight. But look at the utility there in the end as well. We saw it from Nats' perspective. Like, he's like, okay, I'll at least go for the plant. And then 15 things just come flying at him. Dude's dead.
Well, this has been the case. It feels like a lot of Liquid's attack so far is trying to find ways to deal with Trex's utility. And the second you do, you die in another way. Like, he's holding the angle, slows them down completely. They get into the site, and they're just getting slaughtered as they do. His wall catches them on the other side. And this was the thing. When we looked at his B setup initially, get caught by Nats, like, get rid of it, I was like, okay, what's next? That was next.
Okay, Durka, he will struggle to land the first few shots. That won't last very long. Nade's already claimed one. He's there for a second, a third, in fact. They have got weaker weapons. But it doesn't matter, he makes it look easy, regardless of what is brought against him. 7-0 for Vitality. We've seen comebacks. We've seen them before, but I'm starting to think we're seeing a comeback in this series. The reverse sweep is very much on.
Well, that's the thing. Again, we talk about EMEA champion sat within this stage. There's one man who, yeah, he won in stage 3, he won in stage 2, and again, you won't believe it, it's Durka. He's looking to make it the 3-peat of champions regionally in a row. I'll be honest, I think for this team, the expectation was to win this final. I think for the fans, the expectation was to win this final. But going 2-0 down in the fashion that they did, struggling to face off against this Liquid squad, and now, well, if you'd shown me this as map 1, I would have just, well, even the last 3 maps, that's how I expected this series to go.
Yep.
It took a bit of time to awaken the beast that has been Vitality throughout this entire tournament. And unfortunately for Liquid, they couldn't shut them down quick enough because they have grown map by map by map. And I'm now genuinely starting to wonder, what will it take to get around on the ball? Well, you know what, Mitch? 4 ultimates might do it.
Might agree with you if Durka, Safe, and Trax didn't have their own ultis to fight right back.
Trying to make it at least a little positive.
I respect that,
4
Tom.
is more than 3.
I respect that, Tom, but
Just ignore the neural then.
you're fighting the current in this one. Vitality in a BO5, we touched on it to start this out. You typically expect to see more dominant maps at the start of a BO5, and then you move to the mid-grounds as the veto thins out. Coming from the upper bracket, Vitality, they kept the best to last by the looks of things. 13-6, 13-7, and a 7-0 start on map number 5 for Team Liquid. Like you said, what's it going to take? They've got all the ultis. Nats is in trouble.
So careful. There's 4 players pushing this north side. It seems like half of the plan right now for Vitality is just kill this lurk. It makes it so difficult. Even a 1-for-1 trade, honestly, getting rid of him, holding on to so much map control is not too bad. The thing is, though, that wall being tripped is somewhat going to give the game away. Les's plan is to just try and deny as much as humanly possible. Delay the opposing squad as they wrap back around. Good work from Kiko, though. This might finally be a number on the board.
It has to be. Big players against him, and Les is on a tear. No time to take your foot off the gas on this. Camo tagged up by the guided salvo. Les still with 2 smokes. Still with a stim beacon, still with a molly. Plenty of tools at his disposal, and look how passive Liquid are. They're biding their time, not wanting to give this one away. If Safe wins this, we might as well call it here and now. I think he'll be leaving. I know he's got 8.4K. Why the hell would he leave?
No.
Why the hell would he leave? No, you got to fight this one. They got the molly, so they'll win regardless at this point. All he has to do is make it costly, drop weapons, and they're waiting for him patiently.
No, much better. I think Kiko does well, because that's the thing. A lot of the problems for Liquid is how easily they've got rid of Nats. Like, he has been on those lurks every round, so they go fighting. If they meet the full team, okay, they can win the round brawling. If not, they beat Nats, and then they clear out the flanks. This time, they had Kiko lurking around as a second player, making sure that we didn't get surrounded. Well, luckily, it seems like Patatek, we heard it so much from the guys last year that he was a huge motivation. Someone who could bring them back from the depths of defeat. We gotta hope he can be that for Liquid here because, as you mentioned, so much cash, still those 3 ultimates. A lucky thing for Liquid, though, is they didn't actually use any last round.
Yeah, it's been nice to watch the trajectory of Patatek over the years. I think going back to the G2 days, he was known as a toxic player, but such a turnaround last 2 years. You start hearing like, oh no, he's the spirit of the party. He brings us out of these low moments. Definitely matured as a player, and well, last year was just phenomenal from him. See if it can be more of the same. They need heroes to step up. They need consistency on Team Liquid. 4 ultimates still in the back pocket. This early aggression finally pushed back. Both players inside of A main should be sent running. Instead, they step forward and a very late guided salvo causing trouble. Durka was easy to take down. 27 HP when he emerged. Oh, and it hasn't landed, but Camo still corrects in time. Okay, well this is a bit better from Team Liquid.
Picking them apart. This is a scrappy round from Vitality, no doubt. I'm on Nats now. His lurk should come to fruition. Never mind. It's Camo that takes over. And in zone flawless to get them back onto the map. It seems like they've awoken at the right time, but I do question some of the choices there from Vitality. I can't believe that that communication went well when we saw that utility thrown through, making things a lot more awkward for Durka. I guess not really having space to play in the way he wanted to. And then from then onwards, it was just slaughter left and right.
Yeah, we said we need to see Hero step up as well. I think that might have been Camo doubling his kills. Confidence builder and a much needed one at 7-2 down. And the interesting thing is that Vitality, you know, they have that one little hiccup, 2 rounds that go the other way immediately. Faded and Malik calling for that pause. They want a moment with the team to course correct. They're not looking to just claim victory here in the grand finals. They want to dominate Liquid.
It's also just, we know how important these sort of first halves have been. The team in the lead has pretty much closed out all the way through. We haven't seen those comebacks, so I don't think they want to even give the slightest bit of notice to Liquid to get back into this map. 7-5 is a very different story. We are talking about, honestly, after 7-0, I said, is there a chance they even get a round on the board? But they've started to come alive a little bit. As you mentioned, some of those players that have been a bit quieter over the last couple of maps are starting to step up once again. And I believe the Vitality want to silence that before anything else can happen. I'm looking at Safe with early setup of utility. Got himself the operator in play. Nats does have one on the other side, but they are not battling the same ground.
It's the same play for both teams, claiming the space they think is important. The denial of the A main aggression by Team Liquid's guided salvo, and then the denial of B main aggression by Vitality's. After the salvos go down and no one pushes, pump the brakes. Team Liquid are waiting for aggression. This is something we touched on. I was excited to see Vitality's tempered aggression. But so far, like, the spot that you're seeing here at the door, about as aggressive as they're getting most rounds without a real reason to move. And then, well, when Team Liquid are forced to make a move, they go straight into safes up.
Yeah, that's the difference. That's the one additional thing they've thrown in for this round. That's nasty, though. I think that was a stun placed in to put Trex in an impossible scenario. It also leaves Safe now without that extra utility. The Vines would have been there to slow down this push. Instead, they could just make their way through, and Les has been caught because of it. Nice work from Camo once again.
He's got his nade down to cover the backup, and Kiko causing havoc in the under. This is, well, even rolling our Armageddon put through. Not looking very good for the side of Vitality, as Team Liquid have most certainly found their footing here. Durka, he's running for the hills. It's time to get out of here. And a costly enough one for the defensive side, especially coming out of that timeout.
I love the fact that there's a reaction from Liquid. Like, you talk about the way that this round started. You have that opening. You know that Durka's pressuring A main, so you go back in the other direction. You don't expect an operator to be there. But then you have that combination, forcing out the player of Trex. So there was no way he comes out of that alive, and you get control of the tower for free. Puts you in a better post plan. But that's been one of the bigger issues I think they've had altogether, is that when they've walked into Trex's Vice setup, they have died. Like, they have had some sort of crossfire that causes them issues, and that's exactly what I was talking about. The stun combination with the orbital strike. Once that utility's gone, it's a much easier walk into the site, and that's where you see Vitality have to take risks, have to try and take timings.
What in the world was that?
That's the pep talk they need.
That's... Yeah, you wonder what's being said in these moments, but it's only the things that matter. Clean columns. Operator for both sides, it's Nats and Safe, and Nats, big fan of the Outlaw. He's got the big boy this time. Denied any early aggression, and look, this has been the same thing. We don't see Vitality push up all that much. But now, what's a different story? Now they've got 4 players dish, and this is just as Team Liquid are sending players across that rope, sending the spike across that rope. Rolling Thunder is going to be put in. Potentially, I saw it lined up for a moment, but it's not put into play. Big fight for Safe. That's a 3-piece picked up, and the operator maintaining control of Spike in the late round. Team Liquid, they can make their way to the site, sure. What's it going to do for you when you got to push right back into that op?
He's low on HP. That's the one saving grace in this scenario, but also there's an operator on the other side. I feel like Camo almost has to try and battle this first. Yeah, he's going to bait it, but Safe doesn't miss. And now falls back to the rifle, knowing he has the advantage, knowing his teammates there with him. It'll be another quad kill for Safe. No ace to be had, but he doesn't mind. A smile across his face as he wins, almost individually wins the round. I think there was a solid stun here and there, but he was the one that had to land the shots.
Oh my goodness. The fact that everyone's jumping around just like we saw seconds later. Camo attempt to do
back on
for
the
his
list.
teammate.
Thank you.
But it just doesn't matter. Safe 14-5 right now. There's a reason that, I mean, to some extent we were surprised to see this guy go to an IGL. Not because of things he said, because he's always talked about it, but just because he's so useful as a duelist and as a tool for the team. But instead, he's trying to master the whole flow of it, and so far, man, Vitality are looking good under his leadership.
This round started with at least an attempt to try and battle away A main from Vitality, but it failed miserably. And now they've been forced into a corner, boxed in, but a Rolling Thunder met with a Rolling Thunder. There's going to be a lot of damage done on either side, but finally it's Nats to come in with a kill. We've spoken about the lurks, we've spoken about the backline, but we've also talked about Durka. It's only going to be the one for him. Kick still watching onto that cross. Spike needs to get there, and while Kamek goes ahead of the smoke and wins the battle anyway. This leaves just 2 standing. An operator for Trex, definitely not the ideal weapon here.
Spike planted.
He does have Steel Garden though. Could potentially take their guns away.
Yeah, it might be worth committing, but he's hoping to find the pick first. It won't be given to him. So instead, down into under he goes. Ult active for maximum coverage. Might be able to get out of there for Nats, but the others are all going to be caught. Down to secondaries. Kiko up close though. He's got a real chance even though he doesn't have his primary. He doesn't need it. Safe. Well, It's looking like Team Liquid will have 4 on the board to close out the half. It's not a dream scenario for them, but it was looking like it would have been a nightmare.
Yeah, they at least made a decent recovery. That pause thrown in, 4 of the last 5. It gave them some light, but as said, this has been a map or a matchup all about the first halves. The question is, do Team Liquid have a second half in them?
Yeah, let's wait for them.
Welcome back, folks. 8-4 to Vitality. We may be about to witness the reverse sweep here in the grand finals. If it's to be stopped, we look to Team Liquid. 4 rounds on the board, Tom, and now they move to their defense.
Yeah, to say they need a pistol is an understatement. That could be enough to put them to bed, but well, you know, the Liquid fans, the Vitality fans, they're definitely still awake. No one ready to sleep just yet. And overtime would be nice, but it's going to take a lot to get there. Again, the defensive side have a similar idea, looking for these aggressive players, but they have to watch out for Vitality, or forcing them back and then pushing Dish at the same time.
Oh, that's a bit of an oopsie. Durka went straight past both players like a ball through the goalposts. Camo dropping last with the nade as well. He's managed to find an enemy this time instead of himself. A big uptick in performance as Vitality now 3v4. They're on the back foot with the spikes separated. They may be looking to take this somewhere else.
And they've still got time to play with. But they're also gambling on the idea that their opponents have that in mind. If we sit here long enough, we're patient long enough, maybe that's the moment where the defense decides to falter, but they haven't moved. They are reliant. This is something we've seen throughout rosters of Liquid. They're happy to leave Nats alone. The problem for Camo, though, he's under serious pressure. The stun combined with Teo utility has left one man dead on the site. This should allow the cross, and the battle is an even trade, which leaves it in a 2v2.
Timing perfect. Kicks was being watched that whole round, finally drops out of heaven with the spike, and it's just as they turn the other way. That's going to give them a chance to plant and maybe get back. Safe's third already on the board. Oh, he's just been phenomenal to watch. 17 and 6, but he needs another. It's Kiko that he's up against. 2 phenomenal duelists head to head. Safe hiding on the site. And he swings in, giving him a fright, but won't land the shot. Guided salvo to buy him time, to buy him space as the clock keeps on ticking. Safe sidesteps into main. He's spotted though. The shot not quite landing. Holding on by a sliver of health. And the quick reposition. Oh my god, he has threaded the needle. He's made it past Safe with the perfect timing and the perfect play. 4 kills to match the rounds of Liquid. It's 9 for Vitality.
He's in their head. He's completely in their head. What he's able to do throughout this round, the amount of damage that he did. It was said by Kicks already that this man back on a duelist, it might not be defined that way, but the way he's using it definitely seems to be the case. And while he just
One enemy
ran rings around Kiko, someone who has been an unstoppable force this season in EMEA. And now comes down to very little. Liquid hoping they can just make this one at least a bit costly. At least remove some guns, because the likelihood is, without a miracle, they're going to be fighting with a 6 deficit.
I must wait a moment.
It's too much. It's too big of a task. Oh, it's a cleanup for Trex. Quick little double, easy shots. Nats wrapping around the back, though. He'll get nothing. Les survives that on 21 HP. You know, I know the second Nats rounded that corner, Sadik was in the analyst room going, he's going to win this. And he did. Fair play.
planted.
Won't win that one, though.
Yeah, Camo's found another. They've retrieved a rifle. I believe the sniper of Trex must have fallen off the map because it wasn't retrieved after that previous bout. And the problem now is the risk versus reward. Throwing that extra rifle in, potentially delivering it back to your opponents, but at the same time, you're at such a big deficit in terms of rounds. There is a feeling of must, a feeling of need to try and get something done here. The problem again, though, is that timer. They are being given nothing. Finally, Durka is going to be the one to fall, but you can see the positions of the remaining 2. There is absolutely no hope. And while another will be dropped, no extra weapons to be retrieved. All in all, a decent round. But in the context of the game, may matter not.
10-4, man. Yeah, it is just economy damage. Well, when are you going to see that economy broken? Got to put rounds on the board, and so far that has been a problem.
Yeah, the gun went off the map. Oh, that's brutal.
Didn't even cop that.
Spike
Yeah,
planted.
that's an unfortunate one. Poor old Lescott down below, but geez, they had everything they needed with that guided salvo back online. 20 kills for Safe, 20 and 6. The guy is untouchable at the moment, and for Vitality, if that continues, this is going to be a quick conclusion to a 5-map grand final.
Still giving his gun up, though. Allowing Durka to be the hero as he will pick up the Stinger. This is still a weaker purchase, although, well, I think that's a nasty surprise. That was the rifle. Nats is going to be stunned in this corner, but there's not really anybody available to execute on it. And well, after the wall has given away this spot, they are looking to try and fight the backline, but it has to be impressive from Les.
Well, if he wins this, I heard, at least the first will be found. Camo down, but it's the trade. Keeping it well and truly in an advantageous spot for Liquid. Safe. Well, this is an unfortunate situation. Kix was on the rope across to help his buddy out and gets sniped straight off it. And with a clean conclusion to the round, 3 players alive. Team Liquid, they're not out just yet, but they are most certainly down 10-5. They need to double up before we're neck and neck.
Yeah, and I kind of want to see how they're going to opt to play this defense, because as said, it's been a common factor of Nats-led teams that he is on one side, locking it down, and then they aggress elsewhere on the map. This is something that if you're Vitality, you're going to know about, and at times they've been able to beat him out. I think on this map in particular so far in the attack, they decimated Nats. They kept catching him in awkward positions. We see it now. Okay, he's got some support in the form of Kiko, but that doesn't seem to be something that Vitality are shying away from. Bear in mind, though, a lot of the early round will just be orb control.
Well, that's it. On a map like this, plenty of orbs as you go to fight for them. Sometimes you think, I'll take another step forward. And Camo learned the hard way that there's sometimes a punish waiting for you there. Safe. 21, but he's got backup. Look who's just come sprinting in. Even puts down the stim beacon. Bless. He is very keen to help his teammate out when they're in trouble. He's still stepping forward in A main. And it's a good thing, too, because the flank is coming around. Look at this push-up by the defensive side. 2 players taking control, but they're too late.
And
The sprint is hurt. The sprint is hurt. They now know there's players coming behind them. They've killed Patty on site as well. Everything's falling apart. Look at Les set to step out of this smoke, although it fades, and he backs around the corner, not wanting to give the advantage away.
The problem is as well, the wall isolated them, allowed Kiko through, but left Nats behind. It's turned this 2v5 into an even tougher scenario that, yeah, I think they just have to duck out of there. Their aggression wasn't anywhere near as successful as they hoped it to be. Camo dropped immediately. The trade not found either. And then Panatek not able to do anything within the site. Vitality are looking to keep their break back squeaky clean. That's the thing, they saved their finances for this round to make sure that they could come in as strong as possible.
There was even opportunities at the end there, Tom. The 2v5, Safe is caught in the open, swinging out by Kiko, I think was still full HP. And Safe, despite being 21 health from the fight earlier, is able to drop Kiko to 27. Instantly you call for the save. There's no way. One guy basically alive against 5. Play for next. And even now, barely getting away with the weapons that they had. 11 to 5, 6-round gap. And for Vitality, closing this out. Well, in a lot of cases, Tom, it's a formality with this sort of a gap. You need to see one of the biggest resurgences, big turnaround for Team Liquid.
And that has not been the story of the day.
No.
Whoever has led in that first
No
half
comebacks.
has closed out the map. We have seen it throughout the series. For Liquid at this stage, it will come down to digging deeper than pretty much any of them ever have had to before.
Not ready yet.
To look for that trophy, look for that championship. Otherwise, Vitality will have that trophy. And sure, for some of the players, Safe, less. Durka, they've had trophies, but for Vitality, it is not a cabinet full. That's a good start, though. With weaker weapons on the board, an aggressive Kiko is going to give them an advantage.
At least the one found and a big player in the form of Safe. Durka, he has slipped through, but he's spotted. Okay, Nats is wise to his trick. Spike has been dropped as well. Maybe a drop in the ocean. But it is starting, or will start to add up if they can continue to put these rounds on the board. For Vitality, 2v5, it's not like they're in a position where they have to save economically, but unless there's a big mistake made by Liquid, someone walking through a smoke with their knife out, you wouldn't see that unless you're on bind. It should just be the save from these attackers, which is a tough call to have to make with like a minute 30 on the clock.
But that's the thing. It seems like the plan has been
30 seconds
try and
left.
earn up any orbs that they can find.
Not ready yet.
Trex is still going to be moving in, but look at where the spike is. This is not about winning the round. It's about making things that little bit more costly. And I think realizing, okay, there's a multitude of players here. The value isn't really there anymore. For Liquid, there is value in removing these weapons. They will still be able to purchase into the next round, but immediately the Vines utilized. He knows they're under pressure, but this crossfire set, well, I don't think they're going to gamble too many more weapons. Okay, they really wanted to try and take those guns away, and that's actually more costly than I would have liked for Liquid.
Yeah, they're not in the best of positions, especially needing that massive climb back, but I guess seeing the value of potentially dropping those weapons and making that road a little bit easier, paving it slightly and avoiding the pebbles. 11 to 6. Again, a very steep climb back for Team Liquid, but not out of the realms of possibility just yet. Coming into this round, though, geez, it's going to be chaos.
Yeah.
Look at those ultimates.
That's the thing. There's so much available for either side. In fact, there's a world where Vitality could have every single ultimate. But I want to see if Liquid can almost stop them in their tracks. It's an aggressive start to the round, already looking to push up that north side, which was being watched by Les, but he's got to keep an eye on it while also setting up his smokes. That means that this defense has been able to push far further than expected. The problem now, though, is their guns are going to dissipate. Durka leading the charge, hasn't actually been able to find Nats, who tries to dance his way out of there. Les, in the meantime, has held that flank down. Already looking like a nail is in the coffin here. Kiko waiting. He's going to try and smoke them off, try and find a gap to get them back into this round.
It's starting to get to the point, Tom, where it's not even a nail in the coffin. We're starting to cover it with dirt at this point. The climb up for Team Liquid. We wanted it to start here or continue here, but instead, an interruption. And seemingly no chance, but Kiko gonna give it his best whip anyways. Found himself one, but now he's left alone. An ace needed. Time dependent as well. And at this point, getting out of here is not gonna be a possibility. 12 to 6 again. Liquid need to double the rounds to find themselves neck and neck. That will get them in overtime. One slip, one stumble, and this is over. They get to sit on the sidelines and watch Safe Super Team lift that trophy.
Well, the thing as well is now, you talk about that last round, hunting down those weapons and the failure of it. They're actually going to have pieces missing. Kamek left with just a pistol, a Guardian for Paditek, and they did use themselves an ult here and there in the last. Vitality set poised to take this one over the line, but they are not rushing for it. They are waiting with anticipation, expectation for their opponents to make a move. Try and stop their checkmate. Durka, though, he's already spotted the first. Does he expect the second? He does not.
Well, it is Nats to find the first. They see him there. Know that there's going to be some support alongside him, and the brakes are pumped with that smoke. After it fades, they'll have presence inside of A main, but right now, Nats is repositioned to try to deal with that. They haven't got utility to fire through, unless maybe we're going to see a Brim Molly to open it. But Nats is waiting for their aggression. Instead, it's around to main. They're going to make this a much more direct approach. Orbital Strike, Rolling Thunder, available and online, but off-site play for Team Liquid just to avoid that.
They got to try and get past what is an abundance of ults. Nats is going to double up. He's going to get the information. No, there's no secrets. And the leader looks to try and take this one over the line himself. Keep them in this map. Les already back into the site. Kicks has found a kill, but getting out of there should be impossible somehow, though. This has come back to a 1 versus 2. Les still standing.
Orbital Strike.
Hoping to try and get back into a position. He also has himself a Molotov as well. If he wanted to try and play from further back, trying to bait them into these fights, try and push them into a position where they have to face him. There is that molly, but he expects someone close. It may not deny this defusal in time. He needs to swing it, and while Liquid, they do cling to life, just about.
By their nails on the cliff's edge. Might not be pulling themselves up just yet, but they are holding on dearly.
How is this even close, though? That's the thing that's so devastating.
Yeah.
Like, you're looking at Nats
1, 2,
basically
3.
clean up and leave his team
Info.
with 2 players in the site and an orbital strike on one of their heads. Like, how does this even become competitive for a second?
Well, again, Orbital Strike goes through. Player swings in. Why? Why is it happening? And I think we look at the position that we're in. You're 5 maps in, you're deep. You were 2-0 up. Now, Vitality are pulling out all the stops. They're winning out these early rounds, and then the panic sets in. Kamix opened this one up, though. It's Durka down. It's A main aggression denied, or at least stalled for a moment. Somewhat neutered without Durka at the tip of that spear.
There's only one ultimate left in hand. Vitality have been utilizing them over the last few rounds, throwing them into play to try and get this one sorted. That's a nice flash, and Les may just try and do it all on his own. Kamik, though, matches him man for man, pound for pound. And well, the last man is on the wrong side of the map. If he tries to go through this setup, he knows he'll be spotted. And with the spike still down in A main, there is a world where he retrieves it.
He's got time. Plenty of time. Kamik low. Camo tagged. It could be possible. Some isolated fights, but really you just look at Camo. He's jump spotting it. You move towards A main, get spotted, rotations come into play, Kamik's looking at you, Armageddon's online as well. There's no easy way out there. 20 seconds left. Rotation to B site needs to happen already. We'd have to have the knife out and him just sprinting. So yeah, he will just save this weapon. It's the right call. And I think especially it's easy to lose sight of that 5-round lead at this point, but you're in a grand final. Got to play the numbers.
It would be nice to be that guy that takes you over the line, and well, I feel like in this round, Les came pretty close. But it was Kamik that just did an incredible job, like being able to re-swing and I think find 2 players off that alongside his team.
1 enemy remaining.
That could have easily been the death of Liquid, but they're still fighting. We've said it throughout the tournament so far. They were a team that, okay, we didn't expect them to beat Foot. We didn't expect them to beat Heretics. We definitely don't expect them to beat Vitality, but that has been their story. They made it to Bangkok. They earned their champions points, but they are not satisfied with a 2nd place. They want more, but they are under pressure once again. Durka leading the way.
Be dropped, but he's found exactly where Kamek is. Utility there to stall out the rest. Nice shots. Trex landing it onto Kamek, but Camo still needs to be taken down in the site. So does Patatek, but they find them quickly. Now the site has been overrun. Kicks has got Rolling Thunder primed and ready. For Team Liquid already with a disadvantage, it gets worse. Trex steps through the smoke, eliminates Kiko, and leaves Nats. Your IGL, your leader, will time to lead by example. That trophy calls out to Vitality, and they answer the call. Safe's super team comes out on top, 13-8, and a dominant 3-match streak to close out your Kickoff Grand Finals.
Yeah, if you tuned in halfway through, you might have thought this was a dominant series, but it started very differently. Liquid came out of the block swinging. They proved there is a reason that they are in this grand final. And then Vitality spent the rest of the series proving why this team was so hyped up. You bring in stars, you bring in people like Durka and Les. The fact is, though, this squad have done more than justice to themselves. The most matches played, definitely the most maps played of any team in this tournament. And they got better and better and better as they went along. They could have easily been the team lifting that trophy at the end of today after the first 2 maps we saw from them. But their opponents, Mitch, they dug deep.
Vitality, we've heard it before. Oh, Vitality's building a super team. It didn't always look quite as good as this, though.
Yeah, T1 built a super team.
They did. Many have built a super team, and many have failed. But this one, this is the real deal. Give it up for Vitality, your Kickoff champions.
It's crazy to think that a few months ago we were talking, hypothesizing, how successful could this team be? On paper, there is no doubt. They had the pieces. There was no questions that the people on the stage right now are champions, are winners, are people who can get to be the best of the best. It was, is it going to work straight away? Is it going to work off the bat? Is the coaching staff going to be the people that can bring these players together and build a team that can win? Well, after a few weeks, they have managed to lift the trophy, something that many teams who have played within this region, played across the globe, have failed to do. That's something that this Vitality squad are going to take with them on their journey, take with them to Bangkok, where, I'll be honest with you, there are plenty of teams that we look at as threats, but this squad on their day, I genuinely believe can beat any of them. And that's the thing, there's been a few teams in the past of EMEA where I go, okay, I have faith they're going to do damage. Well, they've stolen players from some of those teams and put them all together and gone, hey, have some belief in EMEA once again. I think this squad is going to be one to remember.
Without a doubt, it could be ushering in a new era. You better get used to seeing those colors down on the stage. I'm sure loving it. We got our 5-map grand final, but the way we got there, Tom, certainly unusual. Lots of one-sided halves and then warming up into a BO5. Like we said when we started it out, don't worry at the start. You'll have one-sided games, but it gets closer as it goes on. Well, gee, I was a little wrong about that. The reverse sweep, though, it's always beautiful to witness.
I think as well, it's like, it's not even that they lost the first 2 maps. It was a 9-3 half, a 9-3 half. They started slow in every map, and you kind of look at it and go, oh, this isn't the Vitality I've been watching. Like, you even think back to their game versus Heretics on Haven, even though it ended up as like a closer game, I think they were like 7-1, 8-1 up. Like, they were so far in the lead, and then they cooled off a little bit. In these first 2 maps, it was like, oh, they're getting obliterated. It's like, who's this team? What's going on? And Liquid, I think, shocked them. Then you saw the sort of prep that had gone in behind the scenes. The thing I really loved was going into that Lotus and going like, okay, this team is going to play this way. This is how we beat them. And they did. And it worked to perfection.
It was the
and
first domino.
The further we got into the series, the more you could see the sort of like the ticking brain of this roster that wasn't just like, yeah, oh, it's safe. He's the puppeteer. It was every player going, I'm doing this. This leads us to this. We're going to do this. And that's, we kind of expected this team to go like, I can just kill everyone. And okay, Durka did that on Fracture. That ace is something I'm not going to forget for a long, long time. But at the same time, you kind of sit there and go like, there was so many layers. There was so many good individual plays, but then great team rounds as well. And that's why I'm genuinely excited for this team going forward. It's not just a roster I go, I'm on EMEA and now they're going to play someone in Americas and I'm going to cry. This is, oh yeah, they're going to smash Americas into the ground.
And I mean, the best part about it is we have all of these situations. We're talking about these players, your safes, your Durkas, your less up the top of the scoreboard. But then, depending on the game, we've seen tracks, we've seen kicks, and it's about the impact they have behind the scenes. It really feels like when it comes to roles, this squad has taken some of the best players in every role and thrown them together. And then you have, on the other side, for Team Liquid, to give them some props, players like Kiko, really, I even said in one of the moments, like, two fantastic duelists, Safe and Kiko. And even seeing him on a Brimstone, the guy is a duelist. The way he plays, the way he fights, it's so much fun to watch him play this game. And he delivered here in the final. Even though they lost, he was tied top frag in that last round.
Well, I think that's the thing. If you told me after the first couple of games that Liquid would be our representative, I might have cried. It didn't look good, but they spent time, they adapted, they put the work in, and I'm looking forward to see that they will take things from this series and hopefully learn from it too.
Well, they eliminated 5 teams, so Team Liquid will have a lot of targets on their back when we move on. It's time to go down to the stage, though, and hear from Team Vitality. We have got the post plan with Yinsu standing by.
That is right, Mitch and Tom. I am now joined by the super team of EMEA and your winners, Team Vitality. First of all, massive congratulations, everyone. And Faded, you didn't get to do the trophy lift. Can we just get you? I didn't see you do it.
I did it first.
Oh, you did first? Oh, my bad. I thought I missed it. I was like, we got to get the coach on it. All right, okay, that aside, I have to come to you first. Safe, IGL, captain. And I remember when you, after everything that happened on Team Liquid, I remember the first time you played against them, when you beat them, how emotional you were, how much it meant to you to be able to prove to your old org, your old team, that maybe they made a mistake to let you go. And now you've managed to deny them a trophy. You beat them in the fashion you have. You're the best team in EMEA. So talk me through your emotions and this journey that you've been on.
Emotions? I don't know. I don't feel like I have specific emotions to this. Like, it's nice that we beat Liquid, but also, I mean, I said it before the season started. I said Liquid's going to be a good team. Like, I felt it. I even was telling the boys when we were practicing, I'm like, they're going to be a good team. They're going to do something. And I mean, I'm happy that they're doing well now, you know. When you leave your ex, it's hard. But I'm happy she's doing well. Yeah.
You've evolved. The growth. I love the growth we've seen in you.
I'm really happy for my ex.
And how about winning another one? You know, you've won one already since the partnership era?
I mean, at the end of the day, 1 year from now, people are going to look back and be like, who won Kickoff? So Kickoff is just a stepping stone, I feel. We're talking about the future. We talk about Paris. We talk about like longevity, and I think that's where we're aiming. So, I mean, nice. We won Kickoff. Cool. There's so much work left, no?
I mean, Vitality fans, it would be nice if this team can win in Paris. Am I right? Hey! I know my audience. Next, Durka. Can you ever just give us like a non-stressful, normal best-of-5 final? You know, you win it easily. It's always like a very, very exciting. I'm definitely not complaining, but how is it that you're able to keep reverse sweeping teams, the comeback? Do you think this comes down to your personal experience?
I think it's just experience, yeah. Like, I've been in this situation many times, like against Les one time, and then against Heretics, like in the finals last year, and I think I've done it many times, or like played a lot of maps, so it's kind of like experience, and you know how these things goes, and even if you win 2 maps, it's like not always over, because if you think it's over, like you can lose 2 maps instantly after.
Do you ever get tired of it? You know, having to make comebacks, having to reverse
I
sweep?
would be more happy to play 3-0 maps, then you can get to chill at night. But like these are a bit stressful, but they're also fun probably to watch.
So at what point did you believe in this? When you were 2-0 down, when things weren't really going your way? Also losing Haven is definitely a hard one for you guys. So how did you actually pull this off?
We were just confident in our maps. I think our map pool is strong, and even though we lost like Split and Haven, which we wanted to win first, but like it's fine. We have a 3rd map, let's play it, and then we started believing it into it, kind of like. I think we just took it slow round by round, and there's like nothing to stress about unless you're like out of the stage already. So it's like while the game goes, you need to try hard.
This is for any of you, feel free to answer. What were the vibes like after? Because we saw some, you know, behind the scenes, we have a camera, we see some bits and bobs, but we can't really exactly deduce exactly what it was like. So maybe Faded, what was it like back there when you were 2-0 down?
I think one of the biggest things is these guys never give up. They never quit. And the vibes, like, Safe is a vibes merchant. At the end of the day, he is able to keep the motion steady. He motivates out the whole team. You know, his harsh words are not taken as negative. His harsh words are things of encouragement. And a lot of the times he's creating a positive environment around him. So that in itself, it's one of his traits of leadership that I admire a lot. Like, he's able to keep the boys calm. And I'm gonna be honest, like, even being down 2 maps, like, I didn't stop believing because these guys didn't stop believing. They knew what they needed to change and they knew what they needed to fix. And it was a fight, but I'm not surprised, to be honest with you. Like, these guys never give up. So.
Beautiful reverse sweep. Anything you want to add there, Safe, to what your coach just said?
No.
Fair enough. While I have you here, Faded, while I have you, Ascension last year, I know that was a bit of a rough, you know, there were some rough times for you, especially how the expectations were for your team at the time. Did you ever envision that fast forward, not even 6 months, you know, just like 4 or 5 months, that you're going to be in a different region, in a different country, on a very different stage and lifting one of the hardest trophies to lift?
To be honest, no, I never imagined it. You know, there's a lot of things to Safe, especially, you know, being one of the first people to believe in me, alongside with a lot of the organization. You know, everyone from the top, from Neo all the way down to, you know, the managers and all the staff, like, everyone just had such great faith, and, you know, I couldn't just let them down. But I'll be honest, like, the interview I had with Safe kind of like cemented it for me. I just knew he was a real dude. And from that point on, I think it just shows, you know, what kind of synergy our team has.
So he's the reason you wanted to come here?
He is one of the main reasons why I want to come here.
Oh,
yes, 100%.
Thank you for that, Safe.
Yeah.
We love that. We love that. All right, okay. Kicks, I'll come to you next. I'll just go down the line. Now, when it comes to, do you have a mic? Do you have a mic? Yes,
I do have a
mic.
microphone.
Lovely. When it comes down to this label of a super team, I'm sure maybe you felt it a little bit. You are surrounded by all the superstars. You know, this is a super team, and maybe you were overlooked a little bit in the narrative. But I think you've managed to earn that title. I think you are also one of the superstars. I don't think it's just down to you know, the players next to you when we talk about this super team. How much confidence does that give you to know that in such a short amount of time in your career you've managed to achieve this and to be playing with some of the greatest players we've ever seen in the game?
I mean, for me, like, this label of a super team didn't really matter to me. Like, a lot of people had this expectation that the 4 people around me will have to, you know, put in work or whatever, but like, people don't know what's happening on the inside. And like, from day one, everyone had trust in me, and it's like, they didn't treat me like I'm some guy that's below them or like more inexperienced, you know. Like, we were all brothers from the beginning, and that really helped me just be confident in myself. And like, I feel like it's been showing, especially recently. Like, I felt really comfortable and everyone has trusted me. So like, I feel good in the team.
What would you say is the most rewarding thing about this journey? And especially, you know, giving last year, making a final, losing it as well, and then coming back and being even better.
The most rewarding, I don't know.
Winning.
Winning.
Probably.
We're winning now.
Yeah, winning's nice, right? Feels good. Feels good. All right, okay, we'll go to Les here next. Now, the only player to ever win 2 trophies in 2 separate regions. I know Narrate's nearly edged you there. But, of course, coming over here and being able to achieve that, it is not easy, Les. It's definitely not easy, as you will probably experience in a different region as well. How would you compare winning it this time around compared to 2023?
I think it's more hard to my individual because I'm changing my language, right? But to compare the tournaments in VCT America, it's a little more hard because it was more long, the tournament. I won the VCT one, not the Kickoff, so like Kickoff is so fast.
Yeah, it almost feels like harder because how much you have to play and how quickly things change as well. I think a lot of your teammates have shared why they joined Team Vitality. So I wanted to ask you, why did you come here? Why did you move region, take this risk?
It's a complicated question, right? But like it was a project, I think. Like I was talking with Dirk before, like we were planning to play together. So, and Safe went to me with a good project, good ideas. I like it. We did some tryouts. I saw his move because I needed to see, because I played against him one time and it was a stomp. Sorry. So I didn't know if he was good or not. But after the tryout, I saw that this team is amazing, and then I joined.
I need you to come and talk to my landlord or something, Safe. You know, you can get anything done. Everyone is here because of you. I absolutely love that. And Sadak has been on the desk today, and I have never seen someone have so much loyalty and trust and just rave about how great you are and how much he thinks that you guys can definitely win this trophy. Today, one of the things he shared with us is that when he saw the Fracture was the final map, he said that you will be one of the reasons that Vitality can do this because you love this map. In the past, you've even told him that you could call on this map as well. Did any of that come out today on this Fracture? How are you feeling, especially on Brimstone?
I think he was being sarcastic because I hate this map. Like, for me, it's the worst map in this game. But I understand a lot about this map. So we create together. This map was Safe, Trex, Faded, and me. So I have some ideas in this map. So I was really confident.
You like the Brimstone?
I like it. The old dog. I like it.
Okay. All right, Trex, here we go. I don't think it would be unfair to say that you might be the best player, if not one of the best players that just kind of got a little bit unlucky when it comes to winning the trophy. Now, you've finally done it. What are the emotions that you're feeling right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's really, like, the feeling is good, obviously. Like, it's my first trophy in my career, like the 5 years. And yeah, I mean, it's especially good for me because I did it with Safe. Like I'm playing with Safe for 2 years now, and this is the 3rd year. So like, yeah, I mean, I'm just enjoying my time here. Yeah.
How challenging has it been? Because, you know, 2023, there were some issues going on, and then we know you couldn't join us for Kickoff as well last year. It just felt like you constantly had to jump through a lot of challenges to get
here. I mean, last year I couldn't join because of some issues, and then I joined for splits, and it was like good. But yeah, I mean, in the end, finally I could join this year, and I proved that I could actually win it. Yeah. So, yeah.
I don't think anyone ever doubts you and your abilities. But why do you think that it's taken for this kind of environment for you to win? Because you've also been on good rosters before.
I mean, I think this is the best roster I ever had in my career. So, yeah, I mean, it's finally, like, I'm finally getting what I deserve, I think. So, yeah.
And lastly, how do you keep motivated? How do you not give up? Because 5 years and not having a trophy and, you know, having to play LCQs, having to grind through everything is not easy.
I mean, I think I'm still, like, hungry for, like, actual global tournaments, because this is, like, a Europe tournament only. So, yeah, I mean, I just want to win the actual international, and, yeah.
I mean, I feel like you guys are probably one of the scariest teams going into Masters Bangkok. I'm glad you mentioned it because in just a moment, we will find out who you'll be facing. The draw show is happening right after this. Before we go to that, though, who do you want to face in the first round? You have 4 choices. Of course, I believe that you can only face the 2nd seed from the other regions. Do you have a team in mind, you guys, in particular? I'll start with you, Faded. I'll start with you. Who do you want to go up against?
Probably one of the American teams. I have a lot of respect for,
So Sen?
Yeah, Center G2. I mean, both Josh and Cap are amazing coaches I've looked up to, so being able to head against them is probably an honor I would like to have. So.
Did you yoink that comp? Was that yoinked from G2?
No comment.
All right, Safe. What about you? Who do you wanna face? Trace?
Whoever Daniel wants, whoever Faded wants to face.
Oh, I really was hoping you would say Trace.
No.
No, not Trace. Oh, okay. Durka?
I think Sentinels. Yeah.
The self-explanatory, right? The reasons.
Yeah.
Self-explanatory. Kicks?
Whatever Durka wants.
So Sentinels?
Sure.
Okay, Les?
I think EDG, the actual champions.
Nice. Great answer. Great answer.
Their first seed, little bit.
Yeah. You might face them a bit later. Probably face them a bit later. And Trex, what about you?
I would say G2. I saw Leaf yesterday said that he wants to face us in the tournament, so yeah, I would say G2.
Do him a favor. Unfortunately, it can't be the first round that you face G2, but maybe we do see it at some point. Thank you so much, you guys. Massive congratulations for today. Thank you to the fans as well for coming out here. And thank you to you guys for staying with us. Do not go anywhere because it's time to throw this over to Kakuka for the Masters Bangkok Draw Show.
Hello everyone, I'm Kakuka and welcome to the Masters Bangkok Draw Show. Over the past month, teams across the entire globe have been battling to make it to the top 2 of their region, leaving us with 8 teams coming from Americas, China, EMEA and Pacific for our first Masters event of the year and our first event ever in Southeast Asia. Today, there will be no buys for the first seeds in this tournament because all 8 teams will have to compete in a Swiss format group stage in order to secure playoffs. We're drawing only the first matchups of the Masters Bangkok Swiss stage, and the next matchups will be decided by another draw following the first round results. So before we begin, let's go quickly over the rules of this draw. The teams have been separated into 2 different pools. In Pool A, we will have the 4 first seed teams from each region. And in Pool B, we will have the 4 second seed teams from each region. Easy, right? Firstly, we will be drawing and placing the first seed teams, and then we will draw their opponents from Pool B. So every first seed will be drawn against the second seed. This second seed must be from another region, since no regional matchups are allowed in the first round of Swiss. If we are to draw a regional matchup in the first 2 second seed draws, then the team drawn from the second pool will be placed into the next eligible slot, and we will draw a new team to battle the first one. If a regional matchup is still possible by the 3rd second seed draw, so basically when we only have 2 teams left, that second seed will be placed into the only remaining eligible matchup. So, for doing all of this, obviously it's not going to be me doing it, so I'm joined by Sarvan from our competitive operations team to do the draw. Welcome.
Hello, Kakuka. Hello, everyone.
How are you feeling? Good? Did you like the final?
Excited, yeah.
Okay, let's kick it off. Let's start with the first one.
Okay.
So we have our board here, and the first team from the first seed and the first pool
going to be G2.
I'm gonna place it here. Second one
team?
from that Pool A of first seeds. First we place them all and then we give them an opponent.
It's going to be
EDG. Okay. Third one.
Left. And it's Vitality.
Vitality. Okay. Last one. That leaves us with...
Normally it should be win.
We checked.
Yeah, DRX.
DRX. Okay. Time to see who their opponents are going to be. We move on to Pool B. And for those second seeds, so
Let's
G2 will be going up against in their first matchup in Bangkok.
Against Trace Esports.
Trace Esports. Okay, so EDG will be going up against...
It's Team Liquid.
Ooh, Team Liquid. Good luck, Liquid. Vitality will be going up against... Oh, you wanted
Sentinels.
it? We gave it to you. Sentinels. So that leaves
The last one.
There is a problem here.
We have like a matchup.
We have DRX that we'll be going up against T1. So I am so sorry.
Sorry.
We
Vitality.
baited you. Faded. So we changed. We moved Sentinels back. And we put T1 against Vitality. Only for a second there, you were doing it. But, you know, that concludes the draw show for the opening round of Masters Bangkok. Let's go through the matchups here. We have G2 going up against Trace Esports, EDG going up against Team Liquid, Vitality going up against T1, and DRX going up against Sentinels. And whilst these are the matchups, this is not the schedule. So be sure to keep an eye on our socials so you know when each match is happening. Thank you so much, Servan, for helping me.
Thank you. Super excited for these matchups. Thanks for having me.
And also, thank you for enjoying Kickoff across the globe. We will see you again, coming to you live from Bangkok on the 20th of February. Take care.
In just a few days, Vitality and Liquid will fly the nest to face the best teams that this world has to offer. But only one of them can leave as the best of EMEA. Liquid have map up, taking Vitality's choice and moving on to Haven next.
Yes, Poppy, yes, Poppy, yes, Poppy.
So easy, see? See, this guy? Okay, anyway, it's so easy to play against this.
Liquid find themselves 2-0 up in the grand final. Who would have thought it?
Well, it looks like it might just be highway robbery down on that stage.
This is the team we wanted to see. This is the roster that people paid to see today. Individually superb, safe back at the top of the board.
Spike down.
And another big round for less to close this out. We are going the distance. No robbery today. We get every map we deserve. That trophy calls out to Vitality, and they answer the call.